Amidst the roar of Formula One engines and the constant glare of cameras, Lewis Hamilton dropped a bombshell that rocked Ferrari headquarters. A confidential report packed with sensitive data and in-depth analysis is now in the hands of the Prancing Horse team, and its contents are said to drastically alter the development of the 2026 car. Will this document be Ferrari's ultimate weapon, or merely the catalyst for an internal storm that will shake their strategy? Let's discuss it. Lewis Hamilton's name is never far from the spotlight. For Formula One fans, he is a driver who can change the course of a race with one brilliant maneuver. This time, however, the talk about Hamilton isn't coming from the track. It's coming from behind the thick walls of Ferrari's Maranello headquarters. The 2025 Belgian Grand Prix is one of Hamilton's toughest tests since joining Ferrari. The famed Spa-Francorchamps circuit demands maximum performance from the car, exposing the weaknesses of the SF25. So far, the SF25 has been unable to consistently compete with Red Bull's dominance or the threat posed by McLaren. Hamilton, the seven-time world champion, is fighting hard, but the results are far from expectations. However, despite the disappointing results, he's making a significant move that could change Ferrari's future. At 40 years old, Hamilton came to Ferrari for more than just racing. He brings with him a valuable legacy from his two-decade Formula One career, his glory days at McLaren, his golden era with Mercedes, and a champion's mentality honed by battles against the sport's greatest rivals. He handed 3 confidential documents summarizing all of this knowledge and experience directly to Ferrari's top management, as if carrying a roadmap to new glory. Senior journalist Raymond Blancafort of Soy Motor dubbed them the Hamilton Papers, a collection of incisive analyses and strategic plans crafted with precision. These documents contain in-depth evaluations of the car's performance, the team's strengths and weaknesses, and Ferrari's future development direction. These documents are not ordinary reports. Hamilton reveals Ferrari's problems from start to finish. He began with a performance analysis of the SF25, identifying weaknesses that hindered the Red Machine's potential, such as lackluster traction in slow corners and lagging DRS efficiency compared to rivals. He also noted the car's fragile stability on wet tracks. Hamilton didn't stop there. He also highlighted the team's organizational structure, which he felt still had gaps. He deemed coordination between engineering departments insufficient and noted that responses to technical issues arising on the track were often delayed. In a race as fast as Formula One, Hamilton believes that even the slightest delay could mean the difference between victory and defeat. The final section of the Hamilton Papers contains detailed long-term solutions. Hamilton recommended developing a more adaptive chassis, optimizing the simulator system to collect more accurate data, and improving the driver feedback system. He believed the latter had not been utilized to its full potential. Hamilton presented these recommendations not as mere criticism, but as a blueprint that could transform Ferrari's future. Since joining Ferrari at the start of this season, Hamilton has realized one thing: it is a very different world from Mercedes. At Mercedes, his technical suggestions receive an immediate response. At Ferrari, the process is longer and is often hindered by internal bureaucracy. The Maranello-based team is deeply proud of its traditions, but this pride sometimes makes the team reluctant to accept new approaches from outside Italy. Furthermore, Ferrari holds a unique position in Formula One. While most teams are based in the UK, Ferrari operates in relative isolation in Italy, far from the hub of technological innovation. This makes integrating new ideas challenging. The Hamilton Papers were submitted just before the Formula One summer break, during which all factories are required to close for 2 weeks. For some teams, this break is an opportunity to relax. For Ferrari, however, it's a time of tension. The regulations prevent team principal Frederick Vasseur from executing technical implementations immediately. However, therein lies a golden opportunity, a time to reflect, evaluate, and re-examine the direction in which the Prancing Horse team should head. Blancafort stated that Vasseur should use this time to examine the documents thoroughly, as they contain information that could lead to major strategic changes impacting Ferrari's fate, not only for the 2026 season, but also their future in Formula One. In other words, this break could mark the beginning of a revolution or a rift within the team. Although Hamilton said his report wasn't a direct criticism of team management, he conveyed a subtle message that's hard to ignore. The development of the 2026 car shouldn't be driven solely by Charles Leclerc's driving style. Leclerc currently holds a 42-point lead in the driver standings, and his consistent performance this season means his technical input will likely receive greater attention in the development room. Formula One history shows that while cars are officially designed equally for two drivers, the reality behind the scenes is often different. Input that yields immediate results on the track usually carries greater weight, even unconsciously. Hamilton certainly doesn't want Ferrari to build the perfect car for Leclerc, slowly but surely, at the expense of his own strengths and driving style. For a driver with Hamilton's experience and accomplishments, this balance isn't just about technical matters. It's also about maintaining a title challenge strategy in the years to come, in front of the cameras. Hamilton and Leclerc appear to have a professional relationship full of smiles and mutual respect. However, sources within the team admit that tensions are beginning to build behind closed doors. Leclerc is Ferrari's golden boy, a driver the team has nurtured and protected since the start of his Formula One career. Meanwhile, Hamilton arrives as a living legend, bringing 7 world titles, a wealth of experience, and enormous public expectations with him. The significant points gap in the championship has become a hot topic of conversation in the paddock, sparking whispers about which driver's input is valued more in the car development room. Now, with Hamilton's confidential report in progress, the team must carefully consider every move. A wrong response could spark a cold war within the Red Garage. Hamilton has only been a genuine podium threat once this season, at the Austrian Grand Prix, while Leclerc has already put himself in position to claim victory several times. The pressure is mounting. For Hamilton, the 2026 season is more than just a proving ground. It's perhaps his last chance to win an 8th title, which would put him alone at the pinnacle of the sport's history and carve a legacy that will be difficult for future generations to match. If Ferrari ignores this report, the legendary American team risks repeating the same mistakes that have plagued it since 2007. However, if they listen to and adopt the input of both drivers, they could challenge the dominance of Red Bull and McLaren once again, which could be a turning point in the team's history. The ball is now firmly in Frederick Vassar's court. The decisions he makes will determine not only the direction of the development of the 2026 car, but also the foundation of Ferrari's strategy and identity for years to come. With every small step having the potential to significantly impact the final outcome of the season, Vassar must decide whether to take a risk for a potential breakthrough. His choice will be decisive for not only Ferrari's title chances, but also the team's reputation for the next decade. Will the Hamilton papers be a roadmap to glory, or just another forgotten note locked in an office drawer? Leave your thoughts below.